Welcome to another CEO Wisdom podcast. We have Harkin with us today. He's the CEO of Lottie Dolls. He's the chairperson at Finn Harps FC. You can find him at Jan_Harkin. I believe he's in Ireland right now. And today we're going to discuss about his background, his business, everything he's been up to. Top Leads GTM is presenting this podcast. If you need help with your cold outreach efforts, reach out to other B2B businesses. You can go to topleads.agency. Jan, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Charles. My main business background is in Lottie Dolls in the toy industry. So we started that business 12 years ago, back in 2012. That's 13 years now since we launched. So we're in the main doll category in fashion dolls. The doll itself is a little bit smaller than a typical sort of, I suppose, the standard bearer in the category is a Barbie doll. So our doll is 7.5 inches in height, as opposed to 12. She's sculpted on the proportions of a 9-year-old child. So everything that we do is focused on what kids can do right now. So it's focused on their childhood. It's focused on the activities and the interests that they have now, as opposed to what they want to be when they grow up. We do have a little bit of role play. So some of it is focused on, what they may be in the future. A little bit of dress up, but pretty much everything they're doing is things what they can do right now. You'll see a lot of it is traditional role play, from dress up to letting kids use their own imagination. Really, that's what dolls are all about. It's kind of unprescribed play. It's great for teaching kids motor skills, for dealing with social issues. They can work out those role plays in their head as they're playing with dolls. So yeah, it's a fun category to be in. Toys is always fun. We launched in 2012. We're currently selling in about 30 different markets around the world. We're based in Ireland, as you said in the introduction. And the US is probably our biggest market at the moment. That's been made a little bit tough at the moment with all of the tariffs, but hopefully that gets worked out in the near future.
And how does one go from serious accountant / finance person to going into doll business, the playing business?
Yeah, so I did a little bit of traveling. I went around the world and spent a few years out traveling, ended up in London and had a big credit card bill. So I had to stick with staying in finance to pay that off. A friend of mine who's in the toy industry as well, he asked me to join in business. And we started a business doing novelty gifts. We built that business up over 5 years. And then I sold up my equity in that and started out fresh with a new business partner doing Lottie. So after a couple of years, it needed investment, and we didn't want to take investment and be directed in a certain way. We wanted the consumer research to lead us where we wanted to take it. And we decided then that we would fund it ourselves. So I sold my home in London. I got match financing from Enterprise Ireland, which is like a state agency over here. It provides money for creating employment and the doing the international marketing. So we set up in Ireland. I then bought out my business partner at that time, and we started looking at just growing it from here in Ireland. And we built the business up by going to trade shows all around the world, and we design everything here, we manufacture it in China, and then we go to all of the major sort of international trade fairs where we pick up our customers. So Yeah, it's a fairly lean business at the moment, because we have these distributors that do a lot of the work for us, and we focus a little bit on the online side ourselves, direct to consumer.
Right. And I studied, yeah, like definitely the Ninja Turtles figures and that documentary. I think it was on Netflix and so forth. And yeah, it's quite a rocky story till they got there. Then maybe they got lucky from the get go. But you've been at it for 15 years. Where at what point did you exactly saw the light? Saw that you could be successful and that this was going to catch fire.
Yeah, it's well, we launched, and we did all of the work before it. We actually researched for about 18 months before we launched. So we worked with child development experts. We spoke with retailers. We did focus groups with moms, focus groups with kids. We spoke to industry professionals. We did all of the work, and then we launched, and we were expecting it to be because we were ticking all the boxes with everybody, and it was new and different, and it was focused on a lot of the issues that we discovered when we were developing as well. Like, parents had certain concerns about some of the other dolls that were on the market, and we thought we were addressing a lot of their points. And then we launched, and in the first couple of months there was nothing, and then coming up to Christmas that year, we got a full feature piece in The Guardian in the UK, and that just had a ripple effect right around the world. So we got picked up in Australia and Canada. Unilever's Dove picked up on us and on their social media platforms, and they pushed it out as well. And it just had a ripple effect. So we used social media an awful lot at the beginning. What social media allowed us to do was to talk directly to parents as opposed to the kids directly. We chose to go via the parents, and to do that, we focused a lot of our content on the research that we did, the features that are within the product. I suppose the quality of the product, in terms of we put a lot more attention to detail into the actual product itself. There's a lot of hand stitching in there. We use bright, vibrant colors, tactile fabrics, premium hair. It's very sturdy, so it doesn't break easily. So we addressed a lot of those points that popped out of our research, and I suppose that those points really mattered to moms and gift givers and retailers, who then became your advocates. They talk about the product, they talk about the features, they talk about the what makes it unique and different from other dolls that are on the market. So when it eventually went into retailers are always looking for something that's different to in the big box stores. So when you can provide them with a product, and especially independent retailers, because they are very much into the gift giving side of things. They're it's the grandmothers, the aunts, the neighbors, the parents, the school teachers that are looking to buy gifts. And I suppose our product has that backstory to it, with the research that we've done. A lot of our products are actually designed by kids, real life kids from around the world. They send us their ideas and we make them. A lot of them are really inspirational kids as well. One of them, she was inspired by a Canadian astronaut who spent a lot of time on the International Space Station. So we partnered up with the European Space Agency on her doll, and cheekily we asked if we could send it up to the space station, thinking nothing would happen from it. But we got a call maybe 6 months later saying we've managed to get it on the cargo to go up with British astronaut Tim Peake. So we did a lot of different activities similar to that, where we were able to get, provide educational content to kids and engage with them in the classroom in a lot of instances, and then get media coverage from that. So yeah, and again, that media coverage is going towards parents. It's not going towards kids. Where it works with kids is the what happens in the schoolyard, in terms of kids talking about products, talking about toys in the schoolyard, and then word of mouth does that for us.
Right. And Barbie didn't do that. In other words, you were coming from a different angle that wasn't the perfect Barbie one.
Yeah, so traditionally, not just Barbie, but the whole toy industry is heavily focused on TV advertising. So traditionally it was, whenever we started out, all of the marketing dollars were spent on TV advertising. Now it's very much YouTube and different streaming channels, as opposed to how it was when we started out. Everything has evolved quite a lot, since we started out. I suppose one of the biggest things that we discovered whenever we started out was, in each country there are maybe 4 or 5 retailers that do all of the buying, and generally, if 1 or 2 of them buy it, the other 2 won't. They'll buy another brand. So you're left with maybe one retailer in each major retailer in each country. And our product, because we did a different size, it was a different height on the shelf, so it looked smaller. It's a little bit more premium, so it's a little bit difficult to explain why the price point was a little bit more. We don't put shout outs on the packaging. We don't say, what's inside. We let kids buy it and discover, the features after they buy it. So there's that after purchase feel good factor. Whereas pretty much all of our customers, they shout it out. So you know exactly what you're getting before you even buy it. So we went counterintuitive to everything that the toy retailers were saying. So we struggled getting it into retail. But where it did work was online and with independent retailers. So mom and pop, when we were selling it in their stores, they're able to talk about it. They're able to take the product out. They're able to show it to people and explain the differences between the different dolls in the category. And also then online, you're able to show the videos. You're able to show the awards, the research, the feedback from parents, all of those sort of, endorsements that we would have got. So different strategy to how other toy companies would have done it. But I guess that's what you got to do when you're a small family-owned toy business. You got to leverage every sort of movement that happens in marketing and the tools that are available.
Right, and you produce these, I believe, in Shenzhen, right? Like, have you been affected by the tariffs?
Yeah. I mean, it's we made this decision just pre-Christmas to focus on the US market. So we have a distributor in the UK that looks after a lot of Europe for us. So we gave them our business in the UK, and we then decided to focus 100% on the US market. And then early January, we hear about the new elections and the results from that, and then fairly soon afterwards, the tariffs start coming in. I mean, it's probably not really going to become apparent, the impact of it, until Q4 this year. I think there's going to be a lot of retailers that are not going to have stock, and that's not just going to be in the toy industry. It's going to be right around multiple different industries, from electronics to pretty much anything that's manufactured in China is going to be affected by it. But look, you got to work with it, and we decided at the beginning to stop all orders, and then we've just recently decided, look, we got to work with it, and we've placed our orders now for Christmas. So I don't know if the larger retailers would be able to make a lot of those decisions as well. Maybe they would, but it's very, very risky. Yeah.
How do you do your R&D? You said that you talk a lot with your little customers to see like their taste and what they want to have. Like, how do you make sure that it scales what they want, and it's not just like pure fabulation? How do you make sure the plate meets the money and the scale part?
Yeah, you know, a lot of it, whenever we started doing this, there was a lady who was on a news television show in the UK called the BBC. And she initially was talking about diversity in products. So she was saying that, she herself has vision and hearing problems. So she asked for toy companies to do a lot more inclusive products. So we reached out to people with differences. So the first doll we did was a doll with a cochlear implant. We did launch that in 2015. And we don't say on the box that it's a doll with a cochlear implant. We let kids buy it, discover it, and play with it, and then ask the question. And inside the box, then there's a flyer that explains this is what this is. So it tries to normalize differences. We later discovered, working with a child psychologist, that kids playing with toys with differences, it helps them develop empathy towards those differences, so that kids eventually don't get bullied as much. So that was probably the coolest thing that we discovered from the products that we've developed. But working with kids, we've worked with a kid who has who's on the spectrum, and we did a doll, an autism doll. We've done a doll with Down syndrome as well. We were one of the first. We were the first fashion doll, I believe, to do a doll with Down syndrome, and the same with autism and cochlear implants. We're the first to do a small person doll as well. But we've also done doll, like our very first doll that we did was with a kid, was a STEM focus, so science, technology, engineering, and math. It was a robot girl doll, and it was a video I came across on YouTube with this kid. Actually, it might have been my business partner at the time came across it, and it was a kid making a robot from a cardboard box that she entered into a local competition. Ali Weber was her name, and we contacted her mom and we developed this doll together. Ali is now a registered patent owner. She won Young Scientists of the Year in the US. She was a presenter in Mythbusters Junior, and she's an incredible kid. She was recognized by Teen Vogue as 21 of the most influential kids under 21. So the cool thing about that is, like, she developed that when she was, it was back in 2013, 2014. 10 years later now, she's in college and she's doing, but we're still in touch, maybe once a year or something like that. But there's these group of kids that we've developed products with, and you follow them throughout their career, and it's amazing seeing the path that they've taken.
Yeah, it's very cool. There's the social part of you. I believe you're also owner of a soccer team, right? So you're still quite the competitive guy as well. Tell me a bit more about, like, when that happened and why did you decided to be part of that?
Yeah, well, I'm not the owner. I'm the chairperson of the club. So, I grew up in a family. I literally grew up maybe 100 or 200 meters from my football team. We compete in the second level in Ireland. We're a semi-professional team. We're going through quite a big change at the moment. So we've got this massive, well, for us, a massive infrastructure project. We're building a new stadium, about a 5,500 capacity stadium. We're also looking to develop our academy facilities as well. So we've got a big project, two projects almost running simultaneously. And whilst we're doing that as well, we're a few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, we changed tact in how we're operating the club. And we decided, because we are geographically positioned in the northwest coast of Ireland, it made sense to just focus on players, within a certain vicinity of our club. Kind of similar to some of the clubs in in northern Spain that only source players from the region. We do bring in talent from externally, from different countries, but a lot of our focus at the moment is on developing our own. So we have maybe 12 to 14 players in our squad at the moment that came through our academy. And a number of those are playing for, underage international or underage international teams. So it's proving to work. I mean, we're sitting maybe halfway down the table or a little bit lower, but the curve will change, and I believe we will, make the playoffs by the end of this year, hopefully.
Very cool. Wishing you luck with that. Where can people find out more about you, Jan?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. It's probably the best, and you'll find out about Lottie on lottie.com, or Finn Harps. You'll find it on finnharps.ie.
So that was Charles and Jan for another